As I mentioned before in my last story, members of the Department of British Transport, or DBT for short, were on the island of Sodor, inspecting and watching over both of the railways. When the two controllers revealed this to us, it should go without saying, we were all nervous. After all, the only department that is above the British Department of Transport is Parliament themselves. So what these people say, goes. However, despite these inspectors being on the island, they hadn't quite revealed to either of the controllers what exactly their purpose was to be on the island. But nevertheless, the controllers wanted all of us to be on our best behavior. But the freezing cold temperature before New Year didn't help things either. And when I say freezing, I meant it. This winter was one of those winters. But what made it even worse was that sometimes when the snow started to clump up into a big pile, it was so cold that the snow turned into ice. Sometimes the workmen would have to go at breaking the ice with power tools and pickaxes. This snow would often be too hard at times to plow through with our snowplows. This would of course cause a lot of delays for all of us engines across the island, as Henry would find out a few days before New Year's. "Aw, not again, it's the second time this happened." "Don't be such a grouch, Henry, it's not all that bad." "Not all that bad? I've been stopped by 3 snowdrifts this month." You lot think you have it this bad? Back at home, 3 snowdrifts a day would be a good day. Crikey, how can you even live in a place like that? Well, some couldn't. With all the cliffs and hills, it wasn't very hard for snow to roll down onto the rails. A particularly big patch rolled down and hit my co-worker Jamie's passenger train. The coaches were old and wooden, so it wasn't hard for them to get crushed and suffocate the passengers upon impact. Suffering stacks, that's awful. Aye, that's why our railway closed down. The bad publicity regarding our railway's concern got our controller to get arrested and lose the railway. Why'd he get arrested? Sure, it's a tragedy what happened, but your controller can't be blamed for snow falling naturally. Well, Henry, there's a lot more to me and Elise's lives that you don't know. Woo, yeah, boy! Send that snow where it darn came from. Jesus Christ, Billy! A warning or a countdown would have been helpful. Oh, don't be a bag full of chickens, Henry. That one was hardly bigger than a firecracker. Well, you could have given us a warning so you could have prepared us. You were far away enough. Besides, what would it have mattered? You don't have no ears to cover or no arms to brace yourselves. Ugh, I hate it when you're right. But thanks for clearing up the snow, Billy. No problem, Henry. And next time you see one of them drifts, just call me up and I'll be there in a bang. A few years ago, the snow was becoming too much of a hassle for the workmen and the engines to clear up on their own, particularly when the snow got too hard. So the controllers started hiring demolition men to clear the tracks of snow that was too hard. Some would use tractors or bulldozers to plow the snow away, but others, like Billy's shoe pack, would just blow the snow away altogether. Billy is a demolition man who moved from America to Britain during the First World War, and later moved to Sodor for better working opportunities. Billy's usual jobs normally consisted of breaking down and destroying old buildings that were taking up too much land, or blowing up giant trees like he used to do back home, to make room for the railways and for the roads. Billy also worked part-time in some of the various mines on Sodor to help blow off chunks of rocks that were covering up the materials in the mountains. Billy, I can say for the most part, was a true professional when it came to his expertise in TNT. He always took in everything into account: where to place it, how much to place, and how big the blast would be. Despite the fact that no one, save himself, has ever gotten injured or hurt during his operations, that's not to say that they were actually safe. Woo! Baby! Nothing like a good explosion to get the blood fired up and pumping. What would y'all say? Oh, my boiler's pumping just fine without the explosions and flying rocks. Same here. It's already bad enough that coal's extremely flammable. We don't need to set the mines on fire. Don't you worry, y'all. The only time this coal is ever gonna catch fire is when it's burning in your fireboxes.
I've heard that before.
Nevertheless, be careful, Billy. The last thing we want is a flying rock to take someone's head off. Or your head, for that matter. Y'all Brits don't understand. As long as you know how to handle it, Dynamite's as harmless as a barrel full of kittens. And trust me when I say I know how to handle my dynamite. I've been handling dynamite and causing things to explode ever since I was a little ankle biter. Well, I can't say you're wrong, Billy. I mean, the coal and stone does get extracted way quicker when you're around. You just said it yourself, Thomas, because old Uncle Billy's around. Now you kids go on. There's quite a lot of orders for coal during this winter, and I gotta blow it all out. Woo! I feel like I need a fort next to me whenever I'm around that man. I never feel safe. Well, I mean, I'm here. You could have just asked me, you know. Forget I said anything. But it is good that Shoepack knows how to do his job well. He has to since coal demands are so heavy that we all have to work together. You're right, Lily. I'll say, even though we argue a lot when we're competing, we hardly ever argue when we're working together. Odd, isn't it? Maybe that's how things are meant to be. It would make operations much less complicated if we formed into one company. Yeah, and who knows? Maybe some of us can be closer together. Okay, sorry. I'm too old for games, Thomas. As you heard Lily say, the Southwesterners and the Nor'easters were working together on delivering coal. I know it seems very odd for both companies to be working together given our rivalry and animosity towards each other, but coal is a very big demand during the winter cold. As remember, gas-powered heating sources weren't a very popular thing, especially not on an island off the coast of England, and houses were still being heated through chimneys and fireplaces. The demand would be so high that the companies had no choice but to work together to double-head long trains of coal throughout the island and the mainland. This year, both companies combined wouldn't be enough to fulfill all the coal orders. Sometimes we had to cancel local trains in order to fulfill coal deliveries. This caused the controllers to rent out an engine from the mainland to help out with shunting and local goods duties until winter was over. The Fat Controller rented an LBSC Terrier named Stephanie, a driven and hard-working little engine from the Southern Railway who was quite a thrill-seeker, as he always wanted to do way more than just shunting all day, since that's all he did on the mainland. One day, Gordon, Henry, and Edward were all at Knapford Station getting ready to depart with their trains when Stephanie rolled into the goods platform with a train full of coal. Morning, Southwesterners! Morning, Stephanie. Nice to see you this morning. Aye, you're making quick work of those coal trains. Surprising given your size. Come now, Henry, that's hardly fair. Well, it's like they say, you know, good things come in small packages. As grateful as I am to be doing all this work, I just wish I could do something a little more exciting than just pouring coal. Like what, dynamite and fireworks? Precisely, something to add a little more entertainment to my day. Oh, you've got a death wish, Stephanie. Dynamite's far too dangerous for me to be comfortable. Oh, Pa, I'm sure it's fairly harmless if you know how to handle it. No way, keep that stuff far away from me. I don't want to die anytime soon. You've already come too close to that, Henry. Well, you're in luck, Stephanie. If you're looking for entertainment, the New Year's party tonight is going to be accompanied with a barrage of fireworks for the first time. Are you coming? You bet! I love parties, all sorts of things to do. Right, that's my whistle. See you blokes later. That Stephanie is quite a thrill-seeker, isn't he? Aye, I hope he doesn't find himself on a heritage line anytime soon. He'll be bored to death. Well, I might happily take his place. Colin was pulling 2 giant bridge girders to the foundries at Kelsport, but he was struggling given the size of him and the size of the girders. He met Emma and Elise on the way. Hey, Colin! Andrew's been driving himself mad waiting for you. Where have you been? I was ordered by the Vin Controller to take these 2 girders to the foundries at Kelsport. Oh, they're really big, and you can understand why it's taking me a minute, can't you? We do, but Andrew likely won't. You know him. I'm only following orders. Andrew can't get mad at me. Crikey, where the hell have you been? And what are those two things doing behind you? I've started to rust waiting so long for you. The thin controller told me to take these girders to the scrapyard to melt them down at Kelsthor. We have a scrapyard on our line, you twit. Why didn't you just drop them off there? Because they don't have the capacity to break down this piece of metal there, Andrew. Sorry if you wanted to blame me for the 50th time this week, but it's not my fault. I'm only doing as I was told. Well, excuse me, but what do you expect me to say when the thin controller says I'm late with this coal train? I don't know, but I need help pulling these girders up Gordon's Hill, because the rails are slippery and I don't think I'm gonna make it up the other side. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go behind you and help you push your girders up the hill. If we go together, we should both make it up the hill so we can unleash our sand traps for extra grip. We should make it over and be on time. Good, it's about time you finally thought of someone other than yourself. The doubleheaders made their way up Gordon's Hill and surprisingly made their way up the hill. But the trouble laid beyond the hill. Andrew was pushing Colin and his train hard because he wanted to deliver the coal fast. Don't push so hard, Andrew! I'm not! You need to keep up! The two argued back and forward as they were pushing their trains through the island. However, they argued so much that they didn't realize that the bogie of the back girder was starting to bounce up and down. This happened because Andrew pushed the train too hard, and it caused one of the trains to buckle up, and it was rolling on the sleepers. Eventually, Colin and Andrew were passing by a section of track next to a small cliff. A brick wall was built on the cliffside to make sure that mud and soil didn't leak out onto the tracks. But a big pile of snow was building on top of it. Thanks to the wall, it couldn't slide down onto the tracks. Unless it was broken. Andrew, I'm not gonna tell you again! Stop pushing so hard! Shut it, Shrimp! What are you gonna do if I don't?
That moron!
The bogie bounced up one final time. The bogie truck derailed and hit the wall with a bang, causing the wall to crack. Oh, blistering boilers! What happened back there? The girder derailed because you decided to stop for some reason. It's not my fault. You were pushing too hard. I told you to slow down. Colin, get clear! The snowdrift is falling! Oh no! Oh god, now look what you've done, you twit! Stop blaming me! This is a disaster! Right, we need to get help and close the main line. Right, I'll go to the next station and we'll phone for help. Right, get going. You've got all the Southwesterners on your side, so they should keep you company. If only most of the stations and such were on our side of the island, we could take advantage of that. But fortunately, he wouldn't. Both the engines raced to the closest stations on their respective sides of the snow. Colin made it to Kelsthor Station, where his driver phoned the Master of Controls, the Thin Controller, the Fat Controller, and pretty much anyone who needed to be called. Hello, Henry. Colin? What are you doing out this far? You don't usually get this far out of Brendam. Yeah, you're right. That's because something really bad happened down the line. Always is with you lot. What did you do this time? Before you ask, it wasn't my fault. You didn't need to. Once I heard Andrew was a part of this, of course he didn't listen to you. Thanks, Henry. At least you could understand that Andrew was a twat. I can, but you'll have to explain to the rest of us. Good heavens! What on earth? What happened here? Well... Good God, how are we gonna move that? I don't think any crane on this island could move a drift that size. What drift? Oh, Thomas, I thought you were further up your branch line. Yeah, well, you're wrong, Andrew. The people in the village need their coal too. Yeah, of course. How could I forget? And what's going on with you? Is something wrong? Well, don't be surprised if there is, Thomas. There's always trouble when the nor'easters are about. Especially this one. Well, this one didn't do anything. Well, spit it out, Andrew. We don't have all day. Andrew informed the two of us of what happened with the girder and the snowdrift, changing a few details, of course, to make it seem like he wasn't guilty. Why am I not surprised? Of course something always goes pear-shaped when you're around. And it never does when you Southwesterners are around. You've had just as many accidents as we have. Alright, you two, let's not argue. We need to go get help to solve this. What do you think I'm doing, smart-ass? I stopped to tell you all about the drift. Well, thank you very much. You've done that. Now go and call the fire rescue services. That's what I was gonna do. Only thing stopping me was you twits. Guess I should have let you two get crushed in the snow rather than me, asshole. Oh, don't dwell on him too much, Joey. He's just a twat. Come on, let's inspect this disaster. There's got to be something we can do. Any ideas? Well, we could call the fire and rescue services. We already did, Colin. Christ, how many times do we have to tell you? Well, if you've called them, why aren't they here? I say, they should have been here by now. It's not very reliable of them to be taking so long. Be patient. Even the rescue team aren't invincible. Well, we're left with a big problem. How are we gonna solve this? I know. We could try ramming through the snow with a bunch of trucks. Wait, you're serious? Well, I don't see anyone else laughing. Edward, you're a smart engine, but that is the dumbest thing you have ever suggested. I agree. Trying to ram snow out of the way? The snow isn't a solid object, Edward. We're more likely to get buried in the stuff than push through it. But do you have a better idea? I thought not. The engines on the other side of the drift gathered as much rolling stock as they could, that they found down the line, and arranged themselves behind the trucks accordingly, getting ready to ram the snow. Alright, 7 trucks, and 5 engines to push through the snow. We should at least be able to push the girder out of the way. Is everyone ready? Can I just say something? If you're going to whine, James, don't say anything. Right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! It's not working! Push harder! Stop! This isn't working! Everyone, stop! What is going on here? Why is Colin off the rails? We were trying to move this snowdrift out of the way, but it appears to have turned into a snow boulder. You lot were taking a while, so we decided to go at it ourselves. But it didn't work as we thought. I apologize, Chiefs. This is my fault. I suggested to ram it out of the way. As you should be. This is very well a dangerous maneuver. Someone could have gotten crushed or killed by pushing all that. And by the looks of it, you already have. Colin seems to be off the tracks. Colin, are you alright? A bit startled, Chief, but I'm fine. I told you, Edward, this plan was bound to fail. Well, we didn't hear you coming up with anything better, did we, James? You have no room to talk. No, Henry. For once, James is right. This was a foolish idea. Colin could have gotten seriously hurt. It's alright, Edward. It was better than nothing. Considering nothing's happened, I beg to differ. Alright, that's enough. We already had a mess to clean up, and now we have 2 messes to clean up. Holy Mother of God. I'll say, this isn't a drift, this is a mountain. Yeah, I don't think a crane of any scale is going to get rid of this. For our sake, I hope you're wrong. Let's see if anyone's on the other side. Hello? Is anyone hearing this? Is anyone there? Anyone on that side? Thomas, is that you? Yeah, Gordon, it's us. Are you with anyone else? Yes, he is. Henry, Edward, I, Colin, and Gordon are all trapped on this side. Well, that's a given. Is the rescue team on your side? Yes, they're putting Colin back on the tracks. We tried to ram it off the tracks, but it didn't work. Damn, if you guys couldn't ram it out of the way, then how are we gonna move it? You could blow it up! I'm sorry, did I hear that correctly, Stephanie? Yeah, you did, Chief. The quickest way to get rid of this snow and blow it up is right behind me. It is also the most ludicrous. Only a moron would suggest such a thing. Well, it ain't the first time I've been called that, but this moron's doing y'all a favor. And oh boy, I've been waiting for this challenge for years. Oh no, this isn't happening. What's wrong, James? Ain't nothing scary about a little boom. Except no boom is ever little with you, Billy. You're more likely to replace the drift with a flaming crater. No, I ain't, Henry. Dynamite may be explosive, but anything can be if it's uncontrolled. Unless you're a licensed professional like me. Besides, it's the chief's decision on the matter. You might think that there would be no way that either one of the chiefs would consent to using dynamite to remove the snow, but you would also be surprised to hear that both of the chiefs agreed with the decision. So it was arranged. Billy and his most trusted workmen got busy placing the dynamite around the drift, whilst making sure we stood a substantial distance away for obvious reasons. The men had to work quickly as the sun setted, and night was close. I know you can't rush Dynamite, but I hope they get this done soon. I don't want to miss the party tonight with the rest of the crew. I would too. Wait, where's Andrew? He said he was coming by with a crane. Who knows? He's probably screwing off on the Brendan branch line. He doesn't care about anyone other than himself and his confounded controller. They should have took that dick in when they found out his illegal funding. And I still don't know why they didn't. Maybe it was for the best. What? Well, think about it, Joey. This island is small, but its industries are expanding very rapidly. We may be fighting with them to gain contracts for those places now, but if their company gets the boot, it'll be only us left. And I don't think we can handle all this work on our own. I don't think all of that is very likely, Thomas. If the thin controller gets the boot, he may leave, but the engines might be reassigned to our railway. At least if they choose to, anyway. Yeah. And I doubt any of them are willing to let the thin controller get sacked without a fight. It might be more likely than you think, Thomas. I can already see tensions building between the Nor'easters. The Wellsworth and Sudbury engines in particular look like they're giving a lot of impressions that they're not happy with the controller. It especially didn't help that Colin got into a scuffle with Andrew to make this happen. Likely because the thin controller clearly favors some of his engines over the others. Yeah, I missed that trio before they split up. It's clear they're in a very toxic working environment, and I would wager that Emma and Elise weren't as rude when they first arrived.
Ladies and gentlemen, and before I forget, the dynamite has been placed. Please make sure that you are all about 600 meters away from the blasted site, or about 2,000 feet away, if you're a yank like me, as you call me.
Oh, just get started. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, whoa, now don't get hasty now, Gordon. You can't rush a good explosion. Right, everyone seems to be the proper distance away, so the countdown will start in around 10 seconds. Last warning for anyone too close.
Chiefs, are you sure that there's no other way? We are positive, James. This is the only way to break through the ice without taking days. We ran through the safety and criteria, James. You'll be fine.
Alright, brace yourselves and plug your ears. The countdown will start in 10, 9, 8, 7.
Bollocks, I wish I had ears to cover. It's alright, at least we're not too close to the TNT. Of course, they let me do everything on my own, and they do sweet shit all. Thanks for all the help, you twats. Andrew, wait, stop! For what? You made me do all this work, so now I'm gonna...
Fire in the hole!
What the hell? Oh no! Ah! Oh, shit! Oh. Yes! 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 Woohoo! Now that's a blast right there! Finally feels like I'm back home in Brantley. Holy mother of God, you are insane! Yeah, maybe I am. But it worked, didn't it? Oh, it's worked. But it made quite a mess, all right. Well, of course it's gonna happen. Dynamite breaks things and sends them flying. It's easier to clear tons of little stones than one big boulder, ain't it? He's right. Thank you, Billy. You've outdone yourself here. And you were very safe. There's no fire, no broken truck, nothing. You broke just enough. It's like I said, Dynamite's fairly harmless if you know how to handle it. I couldn't have said it better myself. Right. Thank you for the assistance, Billy. Once we clean up everything here, everyone will proceed down the main line. Well, it looks like you have more than a few things to clean up, Chief. Shut up! Stop laughing, you assholes! Well, that's pot calling the kettle black, ain't it? And it's also ironic. Whilst pulling the breakdown train, you derailed yourself. Serves you right, you prat. It was sad that Colin got damaged, but seeing Andrew on the other hand, I think we can all agree that he got what he deserved. I certainly think he did. But with everything out of the way, we all made it to Knapford Station. I guess you could say that this year truly ended with a few bangs. Jokes aside, a good time was had by all that night. Everyone had a good time in celebrating the new year of 1936. Shortly after the winter started to end, Stephanie was returned back to the mainland, where he continued to work a fulfilling life. It wouldn't be the last time we would see the little engine, as he would be a prominent figure in the railways of Britain. The past few years were indeed very eventful for our railway, with all new faces, various incidents and adventures that we all had, but this was only the beginning. At my age, I assure you all that there are many, many, many more stories to tell from this point on, as well as many new faces to meet and adventures to embark. But for now, I need to gather up everything so I can tell you all about the next few years. So rest assured, I won't be too long. But for now, I'll see you guys later.